big 1000 was completely done. So it started off, I'll give you a bit of an overview, gangbangs after gangbangs to start with. It was just like, the room was absolutely full. Then we did groups of 5, like one after the other of 5s. I wanted to give people more time, so then it went down to like one-on-ones, didn't it? So like one person would watch whilst I was with somebody, and then it would...
Bonnie Blue has just shared some more disturbing details regarding the 1,000 guys in 12 hours, which still seems so unrealistic, right? Like, we did the maths a couple of videos ago. We worked out that on average, Bonnie Blue would need to be with around a guy every 48 seconds, right, for this to actually fit within the time frame, which is deeply disturbing because you got to wonder how this could even work, right? But people left, right and centre across the internet have jumped on this. Even a gynecologist has jumped on this and claimed it to be quote unquote unrealistic. So we're going to be taking a look at all of it today because she's literally taken over the internet, and yeah, that's all I have to say on the matter. But let's start things off with the gynecologist comments, right? So there's an article that's been released. Gynecologist slams unrealistic claim that Bonnie Blue slept with 1,057 men in 12 hours. Can we just take that in for a second? Like, let's just take a moment to sink that title in to begin with, because what? Anyway, moving on. Apparently the whole thing was filmed and there's a documentary coming out about it soon. I'm not sure if I want to see that. But there are still people out there who are dubious about Bonnie Blue's claims, even though Bonnie broke down the logistics of the event the other day, explaining exactly how she managed to, they've even said run through 1,057 men in 12 hours. My God. Anyway, a gynecologist has since weighed in on the matter, suggesting that Bonnie Blue's claims are, quote, highly unrealistic and impractical for many reasons. Let's just take a look at this. Dr. Shri Detta told female, the physical strain and logistics of arranging so many liaisons and the time allowed for each encounter makes the whole thing sound improbable among the risks, she said. She said physical trauma could lead to vaginal or anal irritation, as well as potential higher risk of urinary tract and sexual infections. Ensuring consent and mutual respect in all interactions could also be difficult. Someone actually had to say that. A doctor literally had to come out and say this. We are living in one hell of a dystopian world. Speaking on more health risks, Dr. Detta said, these include higher exposure risk to the change in the vaginal bacterial flora and STIs such as chlamydia, gonorrhea, HIV, HPV and herpes. Unplanned pregnancy may also be a further risk, as well as unanticipated emotional and physiological consequences. Wild. Like, she's literally sacrificing all of this just for a bit of clout. But then again, she is earning 750 grand a month, allegedly. So, you know, I guess she's the real winner here. Society may also place judgment on individuals who engage in multiple sexual encounters, leading to social stigma, which may also have a separate emotional impact. Honestly, I don't think that Bonnie Blue has made up or exaggerated her story at all. Dr. Data claims it's unrealistic and impractical, but that doesn't mean it's impossible. All right, so that's what she's basically stating within her thing. But I mean, it's crazy. This is crazy. But again, I want to know, how do you like, for these people, right? It's always the next big thing. First of all, it was 100 guys in 24 hours. That was the big thing. Now she's done 1,000 guys in 12 hours, allegedly, right? Where do you go from here? Like, I mean, I don't want to know, and I don't want to see it happen, but my curious brain is like, well, if you've done that, then what's next? You know, that's just where my brain goes. But that's not where it stops. As a man who queued with 1,000 men to sleep with Bonnie Blue reveals what it was really like. So we've got some internal... so I guess this kind of confirms that it did take place, but there were around 30 or 40 guys around her at any one time taking turns. Yeah. A man who joined more than 1,000 men in a queue to have sex with Bonnie Blue has spoken out about his experience. This week, the OnlyFans star claimed to have broken the record. We know all about it. But we obviously want to know what he's got to say. So, now one of the persons, so Ali Walker, 42, had hoped to be one of the men to do it with Bonnie, but ended up being put off by the scene he saw in the queue, such as men lined up in boxer shorts and bank robber style balaclavas. Because people literally just didn't... People wanted to be involved in it, but didn't want to admit that they'd been involved in it. It was like a guilty pleasure or something. It was really weird. It's really weird. I've seen some of the footage. He told the Mail Online, I'd been told it was a one-to-one session, so I presumed you go into the room with her one at a time, but when I got there, it was a free-for-all. Wow, he's even labelled it a free-for-all. There was around 30 to 40 guys around her at any one time, taking turns. She was surrounded by guys. Oh my god. There were so many guys there. I'm quite shy. I've never been involved in anything like that, so I didn't get involved. Walker said that he was probably one of the oldest there, and that most of the guys were in their late teens and early 20s. Wow. She's really catering to that barely legal side of things. He continued, people were just going in a group and surrounding her. Whoever got the opportunity would start joining in. She was in the middle where there were loads of guys around her doing whatever to her. Oh my god. Walker explained that the people given a mask to hide their face when they arrived, with 99% of the people covering their faces. He said that the masks were balaclava style, very thin, and a sort bank robbers would wear. Walker said that he was waiting for 2 hours at first, then grabbed some lunch. When he returned, he waited another 2 hours. Bonnie was still going at it. I don't know how she did it. I left about 6 or 7, but she was still going and she carried on, he said. Wow. What is this world? Can somebody stop the planet? I want to get off. That's crazy. That is actually crazy. But that's not the only thing, as Bonnie has now also shared, I guess you could call it, the aftermath or some of the more gory details of what went on behind the scenes when it was all going on. But I mean, it's been a few days since this has happened and I'm still baffled. I mean, Bonnie Blue was obviously trending on Twitter earlier today, a few days after it's actually taken place. Lily Phillips is going to be absolutely seething because she was obviously going to be the first person to do it, but now is no longer going to be. But yeah, anyway, here's Bonnie Blue.
The big 1000 was completely done. So it started off, I'll give you a bit of an overview, gangbangs after gangbangs to start with. It was just like, the room was absolutely full. Then we did groups of 5, like one after the other of 5s. I wanted to give people more time, so then it went down to like one-on-ones, didn't it? So like one person would watch whilst I was with somebody, and then it would literally just be like a rotating circle like that. The big...
Okay. And that's enough internet for today. It's not, because there's still more like I need to share with you. And if I've got to sit through this, then as do you. But, yeah, I mean... It's just absolutely crazy. It's absolutely crazy that we are in a world where people like this are kind of, I guess, glorified to a degree, for want of a better term. You know, like, they are, really, I suppose. You know, they are glorified, I suppose. You know, I don't know. But here's Lily Phillips talking about basically how she plans to run the event when she goes to do it in February.
We had a whole waiting room, so we made sure it had a bit of time as well to go through and think about it and stuff like that, and like had to obviously sign all the forms, so it gave them a little bit of like thinking time. And obviously they've already like applied for it like a month in advance anyway. And then once we got in the room, it was generally, I filmed it super amateur, like I just gave them my iPhone, filmed it POV, because a lot of them didn't want their faces in it. Like, it was super like amateur filmed, because I didn't want all of this. Like, I can imagine going into like an actual porn studio would be like so intense. Camera guys or big cameras or lights or anything like that, so I skipped all that. Some of them were definitely quite nervous, but I hoped I chilled their nerves out. I had such a mixture, like it was genuinely like you got onto the street and like every different looking person, they all kind of came, and there was no like one type of person that showed up at all. But you know what, everyone was just super actually respectful. It was quite surprising how nice everyone was.
I bet you had one hell of a glow afterwards.
Yeah, facial.
With OnlyFans being a sort of social media platform, it's kind of the first time that like the porn world and the real world have been so close together. I mean, what's your take on that?
I don't fully support I don't think the porn industry is the best industry ever. It's got a lot of learning to do, because it definitely needs to be like cracked down upon a little bit more, I think, personally. I think people put a lot of their blame on the porn industry into like us OnlyFans girls, who are just kind of like the face of it. Like, we don't have much control over what really goes on. Obviously there's a huge problem in a minute with like porn addictions and things like that, and people put that responsibility onto like me and like OnlyFans girls, or I don't know, porn stars. I'm not taking some of the blame, but then I don't think it's all blame on us.
There you go. That's enough internet for me for one day, so I'm signing off. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below while you're down there. Jump scare the hell out of that like button, subscribe if you're new, and until next time, I'll speak to you later. Peace.